Ever look around and wonder why some people just seem to get rich so easily, while so many of us work our tails off and, well, we just don't? It turns out there's a reason for that. And today, we are going to unlock those secrets.
Does this hit close to home? You're up early, you work all day, you put in all the hours, you're mentally drained, and then at the end of the month, you check your bank account and think, seriously? Where did it all go? It feels like you're running on a treadmill, putting in all this effort just to stay in the same place. You are definitely not alone in feeling that way.
And then you see them, right? The people who seem to work less but somehow have it all figured out. They've got the financial freedom, they're not stressed, they can buy nice things. It really makes you stop and think, what am I doing wrong? Am I just not working hard enough? Well, I'm here to tell you the problem isn't your effort. It's something else entirely. And here it is, this idea. This reframes everything. See, making money isn't just about working hard. It's a game with its own set of rules. The rich, they know these rules inside and out, and they use them to make their money work for them. But most people spend their entire lives working for money because nobody ever taught them the rules of the game.
So let's learn them. But we're not starting with spreadsheets and stock charts, no. We're starting with the most important part, the engine that drives everything else, mastering your inner game, the psychology of wealth.
And here we go, rule number 1, and honestly, this is the one that underpins all the others. The entire money game, it's played right between your ears. If you believe deep down that you're just not meant to be wealthy, your actions will make that your reality. But if you truly believe you can learn this game, that you can grow, then your decisions change, and so do your results. It all starts here.
Okay, let's talk about rule number 2, delaying gratification. This is a battle we all fight every single day, right? It's the choice between a little bit of pleasure right now versus a massive reward later. Buying that new gadget or going out for that fancy dinner gives you a quick hit of happiness, but investing that same money, that buys you something absolutely priceless, freedom. It's about making a conscious choice to invest in your future self over your present impulse.
Now, rule number 3. This one might sound a little backward at first. To get more, you have to give some away. I know, it sounds crazy, but when you give, even a small amount, you send this incredibly powerful message to your own brain that says, I have enough, I have more than enough. This helps you break free from a scarcity mindset, that feeling of not enough that holds so many people back, and it opens you up to see more opportunities.
All right, with that winning mindset as our starting point, our bedrock, now it's time to build the actual structure on top of it. Part 2 is all about creating a rock-solid financial foundation. Let's do a quick, honest gut check. Just between you and me, can you account for every single rupee you spent last month? If you're like most people, even those with good salaries, the answer is probably no. And that's a huge problem. This leads us right into our next foundational rule.
And this brings us to rule number 4. You know, the word budget, it makes most people cringe. They hear it and they think of restriction, of all the things they can't do. But the wealthy see it completely differently. For them, a budget is about control. It's not a punishment, it's a plan. It's you acting as the boss, telling your money exactly where it needs to go, instead of just scratching your head at the end of the month wondering where it all vanished. This simple habit, it builds incredible financial muscle over time.
Okay, rule number 5. This right here might be the single biggest thing that separates the rich from everyone else. The wealthy ask one simple question before they buy anything. Is this thing going to feed me, or am I going to have to feed it? Let's start with the things you have to feed. These are called liabilities. And in simple terms, a liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket.
And this just lays it out perfectly. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. That fancy car, it costs you in fuel, maintenance, insurance. You're constantly feeding it. But a rental property that gives you a check every single month, that feeds you. The rich are obsessed with buying assets. It's a really simple shift in focus, but it leads to a completely different financial destination.
And now for rule number 6. Never ever rely on just one source of income. Think about it like this. Your job is one boat. If that's your only boat and a big storm hits, you're in some serious trouble. But what if you had several boats? Maybe some income from stocks, another from a small side business. Well, now one of those boats can sink and you'll still stay afloat. This is the very definition of true financial security.
Okay, so we've got the mindset, we've built the foundation. Now it's time to move to the next level. Part 3 is all about how to grow that wealth smartly.
Rule number 7 is an absolute non-negotiable. We spend more than a decade in school learning about history and biology, but almost zero time learning how money actually works. Crazy, right? The wealthy don't make this mistake. They are lifelong learners. They invest in their financial education, reading books, taking courses, studying the markets. This knowledge is the fuel for every single smart decision they make.
This brings us to rule number 8. There's this myth that wealthy people are huge risk takers, that they're basically just high-stakes gamblers. But that's not quite right. They are calculated risk takers. They don't bet the entire farm on one horse. No way. Instead, they diversify. They spread their money across different investments, a little here, a little there. That way, if one area takes a hit, the others can balance it out. It's not gambling, it's strategy.
All right, next up is rule number 9. It's something Albert Einstein supposedly called the 8th wonder of the world, compounding. And look, you don't need a huge pile of cash to get started. Its incredible power can begin with just 1,000 rupees. The key isn't how much you start with.
It's how much time you give it. This is the magic. Your money earns a return, and then that return starts earning its own return. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. As you can see, it starts slow, but over time, the growth becomes explosive. This is the secret so many people miss because they think their small investment isn't doing anything. But those who start early, even with just a little, gain the most powerful advantage of all: time.
And that brings us to our final rule, which is really a core mindset shift. Rule number 10. Money isn't just something you earn. It's a direct result of the value you create for other people. The more problems you solve and the better your solutions are, the more you will be compensated. So stop chasing money. Instead, start looking for problems to solve. The money will follow the value.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? These 10 rules, they aren't some get-rich-quick scheme. They are a fundamental shift in your thinking. The road to wealth isn't paved with more hours and more exhaustion. It's paved with smarter decisions. And every single one of those decisions starts with how you see the game.
Look, just learning these rules is a great first step, but it's action that really creates change. So as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with a question to really think about. Which one of these 10 rules are you going to put into practice starting today?